If you were to ask people what the causes of obesity are, 90% of the time they respond lack of physical activity and poor dietary decisions. Indeed, on one hand, since weight gain fundamentally comes down to calories in versus calories out, these are no doubt primary factors. So we all have to accept some responsibility for making the right decisions for both when it comes to our health. But on the other hand, while choice is always an element in everything we do, calories in versus calories out can oversimplify weight gain by overestimating how much choice influences adequate levels of both daily and underestimating the external factors that facilitate it. Both physical activity and diet have many genetic and environmental subdeterminants. And so our decisions to live our healthiest lives get harder and harder the more the conditions for them aren't met. As such, we thought we'd look at some of the evidence-based determinants of obesity happening before birth today to show you what we mean. So let's get into it. But first, as always, please take note of our disclaimer. Let's first touch on environmental factors, like the family we're born into. When we're kids, if you think about it, we really don't have much dietary autonomy, and our food choices will largely be determined by those looking after us. Consequently, if your parents or guardians have poor food literacy, chronic stress, a low budget, and or don't have the healthiest food preferences in the world for themselves, this will inevitably result in a much higher ratio of good food in the household than bad, more food put on your plate, and ultimately how many calories you're having meal to meal and snack to snack. Studies show only living with one parent or having an overweight mother makes children more prone to becoming obese, while children born into an unclean home, family stress, father absence, or maternal depression are also more likely to have a higher BMI in adulthood. Often the seriousness of childhood obesity is overlooked since it's presumed that, at some stage or another, the kids will simply grow into their bodies. However, it's estimated that about 60% of obese children will become obese in adulthood. This means that more often than not, many factors that incline children to be obese have a negative knock-on effect for adulthood too. Next, another family factor that can heighten your risk of obesity before birth is if your mother smokes during pregnancy. A systematic review and meta-analysis involving 84,000 children demonstrated that when pregnant women smoked, the likelihood of their child becoming overweight at ages 3 to 33 increased by 50%. And sadly, the prevalence of smoking during pregnancy is a lot more than you might think. An analysis that took place on pregnant US women in 2016 found that as many as 7.1% smoked during the first trimester and 5.7% in the third. Oddly enough, the way smoking during pregnancy is suggested to influence later onset obesity is because it predisposes infants to be underweight initially. Countless studies have confirmed the relationship between smoking and low birth weight. One such study showing this was carried out in Brazil in 2018. In it, the researchers found that, on average, when mothers smoked 6 to 10 cigarettes per day while pregnant, the birth weight was 320 grams lower in infants. This effect is thought to occur from the associated nicotine, although the link isn't fully understood as of yet. One main reason may be that nicotine causes a decrease in utero-placental circulation, which would usually be how a fetus gets sufficient nutrition. Subsequently, the insufficient nourishment of the fetus from this may lead infants to have a lower birth weight. In addition, the over 4,000 potentially toxic substances that cigarettes carry shouldn't be disregarded either. Like the link between smoking during pregnancy and low birth weight, the exact explanations for low birth weight and the later development of weight gain are also unclear. Maybe it's due to a psychological complex growing up in part, as well as bodily physiological compensatory mechanisms, like increased hunger hormone secretion or slower metabolism, for example. Moreover, apart from the family you're born into, the physical location of where you'll be residing is also a key environmental influence of obesity that's frequently decided before you're born. Regarding diet, this is referred to as the food environment, encompassing food convenience, affordability, availability, and desirability. One study incorporating 40,000 youths found that those closer to supermarkets had a lower weight status than those living furthest away. While you might think that the contrary would happen, the study's researchers believes it's because this offers more access to healthier foods, and since supermarkets tend to offer more of a variety of reasonably priced foods than fast food outlets. Additionally, with more supermarkets nearby, it's easier to travel to them and buy healthier foods more often. On the flip side, the study found that those living closest to a fast food outlet had a higher weight status than those living furthest away. Furthermore, the built environment has a similar effect, but for the feasibility of physical activity. It includes variables of a person's community, like how many parks there are, how easy it is to walk or cycle somewhere, and recreational facilities. Children who grow up in poor built environments with less than ideal circumstances such as these are half as likely to be physically active than those who don't. Now we've given some examples of environmental determinants of obesity in place before we enter this world, let's talk about genetic influences on the condition. But just on a side note, if you are interested in undertaking our evidence-based and results-backed personalised Plato weight management program, please click the link in the top right-hand corner of the video or follow the link in the description. Lastly, at some point or another, you may have heard people say that obesity runs in their family, and there is some truth to this. Research has found that over 60 genetic markers can add to the cascade of obesity risk factors. Here are some examples of these genes and how they impact obesity listed by the CDC. Yet the impact probably doesn't count for as much as they might suggest. One study proposes that, at most, it may only account for an elevated BMI of 2.7 kilograms per meter squared. In layman's terms, this would mean a difference of 15 pounds, or 7 kilos, between two 5'3" or 160 centimeter individuals with high genetic risk and low. Still, these genes are a significant contributor nonetheless, especially when combined with the environmental conditions outlined. What's your thoughts on all of this? We'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So, that has been our video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.